The metal door slid open with a soft hiss as Kate Harris stepped into the laboratory. She brushed her blonde hair from her face and adjusted her white lab coat. Her green eyes scanned the room quickly, taking in the various equipment and screens that lined the walls. The alien technology still amazed her, even after 3 months of working with it. Commander Zara watched Kate from across the room. Her blue skin shimmered under the bright lights. Her 4 arms were busy typing on different terminals while her large compound eyes never left the human scientist. Zara belonged to the Axani race beings who had arrived on Earth 5 years ago. They came not as conquerors, but as refugees. Their world was dying, and they needed a new home. Humans had reacted with fear and suspicion at first. Some countries threatened war. Others offered help. In the end, an agreement was reached. The Axani would share their advanced technology in exchange for settlement rights in remote areas. Kate was part of the scientific exchange program working to understand Axani biology and help them adapt to Earth. Zara raised one of her upper arms and beckoned to Kate. "We have made progress," she said. Her voice had an odd musical quality to it. "I believe we have isolated the gene sequence that is causing illness in our young." Kate moved closer, examining the screen that showed a complex strand of alien DNA. The glowing patterns shifted and changed as Zara manipulated them with elegant movements of her slender fingers. "Our children are born adapted to the high radiation of our homeworld," Zara explained. "When exposed to Earth's lower radiation levels, their immune systems overcompensate, attacking their own bodies." Kate nodded thoughtfully, studying the data. "This could be similar to autoimmune disorders in humans," she said. "We might be able to create a treatment using modified human immunotherapy techniques." Zara made a soft clicking sound that Kate had learned meant agreement. The commander stood nearly 7 feet tall, her willowy frame making Kate feel small in comparison. Though the Axani were physically imposing, their gentle nature had gradually won over most humans who worked with them. The laboratory door opened again, and Lisa Chen entered. She was the medical specialist on the team. Her dark eyes widened as she saw the display. "You've found it?" she asked breathlessly. Kate nodded. "We think so. Now we need to develop a treatment." The 3 worked together for hours designing a potential therapy that would help Axani children adapt to Earth. The solution they developed combined human medical techniques with alien technology, creating something entirely new. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the large windows, Kate stretched her tired muscles and yawned. "We should test this tomorrow." She suggested. "I need sleep." Zara made the clicking sound again. "You humans, and your inefficient need for daily rest," she teased. "But I agree. We will continue in the morning." Kate gathered her notes and headed for the door. She lived in the special housing complex built for humans working at the Axani settlement. The small apartment was simple but comfortable. Outside her window, she could see the strange angular buildings of the alien community. Their architecture favored crystalline structures that caught the light in beautiful ways. As Kate prepared for bed, her communication device chimed. She picked it up and saw a message from General Ward, the military liaison to the Axani. "Project report to my office tomorrow, 0800. Confidential matter." Kate frowned. This was unusual. She had little contact with the military side of the program. She sent a quick acknowledgement and tried to sleep, but curiosity kept her awake for hours. The next morning, Kate arrived at the military compound adjacent to the science facility. The guards checked her credentials before allowing her inside. General Ward's office was sparse and functional. The woman herself sat behind a metal desk, her gray hair cut in a severe style, her uniform immaculate. "Sit down, Dr. Harris," the general said. Her voice was clipped and professional. "I have a sensitive matter to discuss." Kate took a seat, wondering what this could be about. "We have intelligence suggesting the Axani are not being entirely truthful with us," General Ward said. She tapped a screen on her desk, bringing up images of strange equipment Kate had never seen before. These were taken inside a restricted section of their main ship. Kate studied the images with confusion. "What am I looking at?" "We believe these are components for terraforming technology." The general leaned forward. the kind that could alter Earth's atmosphere to make it more like their homeworld. Kate felt a chill run down her spine that would make Earth uninhabitable for humans. Exactly, the general nodded. Our analysts believe the HFY story about being refugees might be a cover. They could be the first wave of a slower invasion. But I've worked with them, Kate protested. They seem peaceful. They need our help with their children. Perhaps that part is true, General Ward conceded. Or perhaps it's an elaborate deception. We need to know for certain. Dr. Harris, that is why I called you here. We need someone on the inside, someone. They trust Kate suddenly understood. You want me to spy on them. Not spy. The general corrected. Verify their story. Ensure our safety. I want you to find a way into that restricted area. Kate felt torn. The HFY had been nothing but kind to her. They were making real progress that would help their children. But if the general was right, the future of humanity could be at stake. The general sensed her hesitation. I understand your reluctance, but consider this. If the HFY are telling the truth, no harm done. We apologize for our suspicion and strengthen our alliance. But if they're lying, I need time to think. Kate said finally, you have until tomorrow. The general dismissed her with a nod. Remember, Dr. Harris, the safety of our entire species may depend on your decision. Kate left the office, her mind racing with conflicting thoughts. She returned to the laboratory to find Zara already there, working on their project from the previous day. Good morning, Zara greeted her. Did you rest? Well, Kate forced a smile. Yes, thank you, she lied. How are the simulations looking? Promising, Zara replied. The treatment shows a 93% success rate in the models. We should be ready for live testing soon. They worked side by side as they had for months, but now Kate found herself watching Zara more carefully, looking for any signs of deception. She hated herself for the suspicion, but couldn't ignore the general's warning. During a break, Kate casually asked about the main ship. I was wondering if I might tour more of your vessel sometime. I'm curious about your technology. Zara hesitated briefly. Most areas are open to human scientists, she said. But some sections contain sensitive equipment from our world equipment that could be dangerous to humans without proper protection. Kate nodded, trying to appear merely curious rather than suspicious. That makes sense. I wouldn't want to put myself in danger. When the day ended, Kate returned to her apartment. She paced back and forth, weighing her options. If she refused to help General Ward, she might be removed from the project, replaced by someone less sympathetic to the HFY. But if she agreed to spy, she would be betraying beings who had treated her with respect and trust. That night, Kate barely slept. The weight of her decision kept her awake until dawn. When morning came, she had made her choice. She would find a way to discover the truth, not just for humans, but for the HFY children who needed their help. Kate entered General Ward's office at exactly 8 o'clock. The general looked up from her desk. Well, Dr. Harris, what is your decision? I'll do it, Kate said, but on one condition. If I find proof the HFY are telling the truth, you will increase support for our medical research. They need our help and we need their knowledge. The general considered this for a moment, then nodded. Very well, but if you find evidence supporting our suspicions, then I'll help you stop them, Kate finished. But I don't believe that will happen, as Kate left the military compound and walked toward the science facility. She noticed how beautiful the morning was. The sun shone on the crystal structures of the HFY buildings, creating rainbows of light across the landscape. She thought about the alien children suffering from illness, their bodies unable to adapt to Earth. She thought about Zara's gentle nature and obvious concern for her people. The truth was out there somewhere. Kate was determined to find it, for the sake of two species whose futures were now intertwined in ways neither had expected. 2 days passed before Kate found an opportunity to investigate the restricted area of the HFY ship. She had carefully observed the guards, noting when shifts changed and security seemed lightest. The perfect moment came during an emergency drill. When most of the HFY were gathered in the main hall for instructions, Kate slipped away from the crowd, her heart pounding in her chest. She wore the standard lab coat, which thankfully looked similar to what many Axani technicians wore. She kept her head down and walked with purpose as if she belonged exactly where she was going. The main ship rested at the center of the settlement, a massive silver structure that rose nearly 1,000 feet into the air. Most of its bulk remained buried. Underground, a precaution the Axani claimed was for stability. Kate now wondered if there were other reasons. She entered through a side access point using the keycard General Ward had provided. It had been programmed to mimic Axani signatures and should grant her entry to most areas. Kate held her breath as she swiped it. The door hesitated, then slid open with a soft hiss. The corridor beyond was dimly lit with pulsing blue lights that ran along the floor. A strange, sweet smell filled the air, something like cinnamon mixed with ozone. Kate moved quickly, checking the small device in her pocket that displayed a rough map of the ship. The restricted section was 3 levels down. Kate found a transport tube and stepped inside. The gravity shifted as the tube carried her downward. Her stomach lurched uncomfortably. When the doors opened, she faced a long corridor with numerous doors on either side. None were marked in any language she could understand. The map indicated the suspicious equipment should be in a large chamber toward the end of the hall. Kate moved carefully, staying alert for any Axani who might question her presence. The ship felt eerily quiet on this level. She reached a massive door at the corridor's end. It was sealed with a complex locking mechanism. Kate studied it for a moment, then swiped her card again. Nothing happened. She tried once more with the same result. The card that had worked elsewhere wasn't granting her access. Here Kate bit her lip, considering her options. She could turn back now, report that she couldn't gain entry, but she had come too far to give up. She examined the lock more closely, noticing it had a biological scanner. As a geneticist, she understood Axani biology better than most humans. She pulled a small kit from her pocket, one she'd prepared just in case, using a synthetic sample of Axani tissue she'd created in the lab. Kate tricked the scanner. The door shuddered, then slowly slid open. She slipped inside quickly, before it could close again. The chamber beyond took her breath away. It was enormous, at least the size of a football field, and it was filled with hundreds of large, transparent pods. Each pod contained what appeared to be an Axani child, floating in a glowing blue liquid. Kate moved closer to examine one of the pods. The child inside looked peaceful, almost asleep, but numerous tubes and wires connected its small body to the pod itself. Data scrolled across screens attached to each unit, some in Axani language, some translated to English. Life support parameters: stable cellular regeneration at 28%, radiation sensitivity adjusting to Earth, normal levels. Kate moved from pod to pod, reading the data. The same information appeared on each with slight variations. It wasn't terraforming technology at all. It was medical equipment, a massive intensive care unit for children. A voice spoke behind her, making Kate jump. "What are you doing here?" Dr. Harris. Kate spun around to find Zara standing just inside the doorway. The commander's compound eyes reflected the blue light from the pods, giving her an ethereal appearance. "I was..." Kate stammered, unable to form a coherent explanation. "You should not be here," Zara said, stepping closer. "This area is restricted." Kate took a deep breath. "General Ward showed me images of this place. She thought you were building terraforming technology to change Earth." Zara made a sound Kate had never heard before, something between a sigh and a moan. "We feared such misunderstandings." The commander gestured around the room. "This is why we came to Earth, Dr. Harris. These are our future." Kate looked at the pods again. "There must be hundreds of children here, 512. Zara corrected, "all suffering from genetic degradation due to radiation poisoning on our world. The last generation of Axani children." The truth dawned on Kate slowly. "The children you brought for treatment. These aren't just random cases. This is your entire next generation." Zara nodded, her head lowering slightly in what Kate recognized as a sign of sorrow. "Our world was poisoned by a war fought by our ancestors. The radiation levels became too high, destroying our ability to reproduce naturally. These children were conceived using technology, but they are still dying. We came to Earth as a last desperate attempt to save them. Kate felt shame wash over her. They had been working on treatments for what she thought were a few dozen cases, not hundreds of dying children. The future of an entire species. Why didn't you tell us the full truth? Kate asked. Fear, Zara replied simply. We feared that if humans knew how desperate we were, you might deny us help, or worse, use it as leverage against us. We have nothing left to bargain with. Dr. Harris, nothing but our knowledge and technology. Kate looked again at the pods, each containing a small blue child fighting for survival. She thought of General Ward waiting for information that could lead to the Axani being forced to leave Earth. Or worse, I need to report something to General Ward. Kate said slowly. What should I tell her? Zara stepped closer, her tall frame casting a shadow over Kate. Tell her the truth. The commander said. Simply the truth. We are not invaders. We are refugees, and we are dying. Kate nodded. I will. But I need to understand everything first. No more secrets. Show me exactly what you're doing here. For the next hour, Zara guided Kate through the facility, explaining the complex life support systems that kept the children alive. The technology was far beyond human medicine, but Kate recognized the principles. The Axani were using a combination of genetic therapy, radiation treatment, and something similar to suspended animation to keep their children stable, while searching for a cure. What happens if the treatment we develop doesn't work? Kate asked, finally voicing the question that had been building in her mind. Then the Axani end with this generation? Zara said simply. Our knowledge, our culture, our very existence will be lost. We will become a footnote in the universe, a species that destroyed itself through war and could not recover. The words hung heavy in the air. Kate thought about the research they had been doing, the promising results they had seen in simulations. If they could scale it up, apply it to hundreds of children. I need to go back, Kate said suddenly. I need to speak with General Ward, and then I need to gather our team. We need more resources, more people. If we're going to save 500 children, we need help. Zara made the clicking sound of agreement. I will trust you with our future, Dr. Harris, because I believe I have seen your true nature. You care for life, even alien life. Kate left the ship, her mind racing with new information and plans. When she reached General Ward's office, the woman was waiting impatiently. Well, Dr. Harris, what did you find? Kate took a deep breath and began to explain what she'd discovered. She watched the general's expression change from suspicion to surprise and finally to thoughtful consideration. So they need our help, the general said when Kate had finished. Not our planet, not to take it? No, Kate confirmed. They need a safe place to save their children, and in return, they offer us technology beyond our imagination, medical advances, space travel, clean energy. General Ward stood and walked to the window, looking out at the Axani settlement. The crystalline structures glittered in the afternoon sun. Very well, Dr. Harris. The general turned back. To face her, I will report to my superiors that the Axani pose no threat. But I want you to continue your work with them. Keep me informed of all developments. Kate nodded, grateful that the general believed her. She left quickly, eager to return to the laboratory. There was so much work to do, so many lives depending on their success. Kate stood at the observation window watching as the first treatment was administered to an Axani child. The small blue figure floated peacefully in the pod as the glowing green liquid was slowly introduced to the system. Kate held her breath, her fingers crossed in a childhood gesture of hope. Beside her, Zara remained perfectly still, only the rapid blinking of her compound eyes betraying her anxiety. Lisa Chen monitored the vital signs on a nearby console, her face tense with concentration. All readings stable. Lisa reported temperature normal, brain activity consistent. Cellular response beginning. Kate exhaled slowly. This was the culmination of weeks of intense work. After discovering the truth about the Axani children, she had assembled a larger team of human scientists. The best minds in genetics, immunology, and pediatric medicine had worked around the clock developing the treatment. They had tested it on tissue samples, then on cell clusters. Each time the results were promising, now they were testing it on a living child. The child in the pod was named Ilara. She was 5 Earth years old and among the most critically ill of the Axani children. Her parents stood on the other side of the chamber watching with what Kate had come to recognize as the universal look of parental worry regardless of species. The minutes ticked by slowly. The green treatment fluid circulated through Ilara's small body. Monitors beeped softly, recording every change in her condition. "Something is happening," Lisa said suddenly. "Look at the cellular regeneration." Kate leaned closer to view the screen. The damaged cells in Ilara's body were responding to the treatment, regenerating at a rate they hadn't predicted. "Is that good or bad?" Kate asked, her scientific mind racing to understand the implications. Zara moved to the console, her forearms working different controls simultaneously. "The rate exceeds our models," she said, "but the pattern is stable. The child is accepting the treatment." Hours passed as they monitored Ilara's condition. The regeneration continued steadily, her vital signs growing stronger. By evening, the data was clear. The treatment was working. Ilara was improving. When they finally stepped away from the pod, Ilara's parents approached Zara speaking rapidly in the musical Axani language. Kate didn't need a translation to understand their gratitude. Their body language and tone conveyed everything. "This is just the first step," Kate cautioned when Zara translated their thanks. "We need to monitor Ilara for several days to ensure there are no negative reactions, and even if this is completely successful, we need to adapt the treatment for each child. Their genetic damage varies." Zara made the clicking sound of agreement. "But it is a beginning," she said. A reason to hope. Over the next week, Kate barely left the medical facility. She slept on a cot in a small side room, grabbing a few hours of rest when she could. Every moment was precious, every piece of data, crucial to understanding how the treatment affected Axani physiology. Ilara continued to improve. Her damaged cells regenerated, her immune system stabilized, and on the 7th day, she opened her eyes. Kate was there when it happened, watching as the child's large compound eyes flickered, then focused. Ilara looked around slowly, taking in her surroundings. When she saw her parents standing nearby, she reached out one small hand toward them. Later that day, Kate sat in a conference room with General Ward and several government officials. They had come to witness the results firsthand. "The treatment works," Kate explained, showing them the data. "The child is recovering. We believe we can replicate this success with the others, though each will require a slightly modified approach." General Ward nodded, impressed. "Is there any risk to humans?" she asked. Any chance this technology could be weaponized? Kate had anticipated this question. "No," she answered firmly. "The treatment is specific to Axani biology. It has no effect on human cells. Positive or negative, it's designed to counteract radiation damage unique to their species." One of the officials, a stern woman from the State Department, leaned forward. "If we provide this help, what do we get in return?" Kate struggled to hide her disgust at the question. Before she could respond, General Ward spoke. "The Axani have already begun sharing technology with us." The general said, "They have provided clean energy systems that could eliminate our dependence on fossil fuels, medical devices that can diagnose diseases with unprecedented accuracy, and that's just the beginning. Their knowledge of space travel alone could advance our capabilities by centuries." The officials murmured among themselves, clearly impressed. Additionally, the general continued, "They have shown themselves to be peaceful. They came to us in need and have been transparent about their intentions. They seek only to save their children and rebuild their civilization. They have no interest in conquest." Kate was surprised by the general's defense. She had expected the military to be the most suspicious of the aliens, but perhaps seeing the children had changed Ward's perspective too. The meeting ended with approval for expanded resources. Kate would have more scientists, more equipment, everything needed to treat all 512 children. But there was a stipulation. Each breakthrough, each new piece of technology must be shared with human authorities. Kate returned to the medical facility to find Zara waiting for her. "How was your meeting?" the commander asked. "Successful," Kate replied. "They have approved everything we asked for. We can begin treating more children immediately." Zara made a gesture Kate had learned, expressed profound gratitude. Then she hesitated. "Before we proceed, there is something else you should know. Follow me." Kate followed Zara through the facility to a secure door she hadn't seen before. The commander placed her hand on a scanner and the door slid open, revealing a small chamber inside. Was a single pod larger than the others. "What is this?" Kate asked, stepping closer to look through the transparent surface. "This is our leader," Zara explained, Supreme Commander Lyra. She was exposed to the highest levels of radiation leading the evacuation of our world. We placed her in stasis to prevent her death, but we lacked the knowledge to heal her injuries. They are too severe. Kate studied the figure in the pod, an older female Exani, her skin a deeper shade of blue. Her body showed signs of radiation, burns and tissue damage far more extensive than anything Kate had seen in the children. "Can your treatment help her?" Zara asked. Kate considered the question carefully, studying the medical data displayed on the pod screen. "The damage is different," she said finally. "Much more extensive. The treatment we'd need would be more complex, but it's not impossible. With time and research, we might develop something." Zara touched Kate's shoulder lightly, a gesture the Exani rarely used with humans. "Lyra is my mother," she said softly. "She sacrificed herself to save our children. I would be grateful for any attempt to help her." Kate felt the weight of this new responsibility, but also understood its importance. Lyra wasn't just a leader, but a symbol to her, people of sacrifice and hope. She nodded. "I'll do everything I can over the next months." Kate divided her time between treating the Exani children and researching a cure for Lyra. One by one, the children responded to the treatment, waking from their long sleep, beginning their recovery. The facility that had been quiet and solemn became filled with the sounds of young voices as the children strong enough to leave their pods began to move about. The humans working in the facility grew attached to their young patients. The children were curious and intelligent, eager to learn about Earth. They picked up English quickly, often mixing it with their native language, creating a unique hybrid that soon everyone in the facility was using. Kate found herself working closely with a girl named Thalia, who had been among the first to recover. Thalia followed her around, asking endless questions about Earth plants, animals, weather. The child was especially fascinated by rain, something their home world had lacked for generations. One afternoon, as Kate was examining samples in her lab, Thalia appeared at her side. "Dr. Kate," she said in her musical voice, "why do humans help us?" Kate considered the question. "We help because you needed help," she replied. "Because every child deserves a chance to grow up." Thalia blinked her compound eyes. "Is that all?" No, Kate smiled. "It's also because helping each other makes us better, makes us more than we were before. The Exani and humans working together have made discoveries neither could have made alone." Thalia seemed satisfied with this answer. She watched Kate work for a while longer, then asked, "Will you save Supreme Commander Lyra?" Kate hesitated. She had been making progress on Lyra's treatment, but the commander's injuries were complex. The radiation had affected her neural pathways in ways they were still struggling to understand. "I hope so," Kate said. "Finally, we are trying very hard." Thalia nodded. "I hope too," she said. "She saved us. Now we must save her." Kate looked at the small blue child standing beside her, so full of wisdom and hope. She realized that in saving the Exani, they were saving something in themselves too, something precious that humanity sometimes forgot: the ability to reach across differences and see not aliens but people, children, parents, leaders, all seeking the same basic things: life, safety, hope. And in that moment, Kate knew with absolute certainty that she would find a way to heal Lyra no matter what it took. 6 months had passed since the first successful treatment. Kate stood in the center of what had once been the emergency medical facility, but now looked more like a school. Exani children sat in small groups learning from both human and Exani teachers. 300 of the 512 children were now fully recovered. The rest were improving steadily, with only a few dozen still in critical condition. Kate smiled as she watched Thalia leading a group of younger children in what appeared to be a game involving complex hand movements and singing. The facility that had once been filled with the quiet hum of life support systems now echoed with laughter and conversation. "Dr. Kate," a voice called. Kate turned to see Lisa approaching, a tablet in her hand. "I think we have it," she said excitedly. "The new treatment for Supreme Commander Lyra. The simulations show a 97% chance of success." Kate took the tablet, scanning the data quickly. Her heart raced as she realized what this meant. They had finally developed a treatment that could heal the extensive neural damage Lyra had suffered. It had taken countless hours of research combining Exani knowledge with human medical techniques, but they had created something revolutionary. "Have you shown this to Zara yet?" Kate asked. Lisa shook her head. "I came to you first. We should tell her together," Kate said. "Gather the team." They found Zara in the communication center, where she spent most of her time these days. The commander was coordinating with the remaining Exani ships in orbit around Earth. As their children recovered, the Exani had begun discussing their future, whether to remain on Earth, establish colonies elsewhere, or attempt to return to their home world and rebuild. "Zara," Kate called from the doorway. "We need to speak with you." The commander excused herself from the communication panel and joined them. Her eyes focused immediately on the tablet in Kate's hand. "What have you found?" she asked. "We believe we've developed a treatment for your mother," Kate said. "We can begin immediately if you approve." Zara took the tablet, her 4 hands trembling slightly as she reviewed the data. The commander had maintained her composure through all the challenges they had faced, but now emotion showed clearly in her posture and the rapid blinking of her eyes. She looked up at Kate and the team. When she spoke, her voice was thick with feeling. "You have done what we thought impossible. First our children, now our leader. How can we ever repay this?" Kate placed a hand gently on Zara's arm. "No payment is necessary," she said. "We helped because we could. Because that's what friends do." Zara made the clicking sound that Kate now knew meant deep agreement. "Among my people," she said, "there is a concept called Sarai Leth. It means those who become family through actions rather than birth. You humans have become Sarai Leth to the Axani." The treatment for Supreme Commander Lyra began that afternoon. Kate supervised personally. As the special serum was introduced to the stasis pod, the mixture glowed with an intense blue light as it circulated through Lyra's damaged body. Unlike the children's treatment, this one worked more aggressively, targeting the extensive neural damage. Zara remained by her mother's pod day and night, watching for any sign of change. Kate brought her food and insisted she rest occasionally, but understood the commander's need to be present. This was more than a medical procedure. It was the possible revival of a beloved parent and respected leader. On the 3rd day, the monitors registered increased brain activity. Lyra's neural pathways were beginning to heal, reconnecting in patterns that had been damaged by radiation. The process was slow, but steady. Each hour brought new improvements. On the 5th day, Lyra's eyes opened. For a moment, they stared unfocused at the ceiling of the pod. Then they shifted to where Zara sat beside her. The commander leaned forward, pressing her hand against the transparent surface. Lyra raised her own hand weakly to match it. "Mother," Zara whispered. The older Axani blinked slowly, recognition dawning in her large compound eyes. Her lips moved, forming a single word. Daughter Kate monitored the readings carefully. Everything indicated the treatment was working. Lyra's neural functions were stabilizing, her damaged tissues regenerating. The process would take time, but the prognosis was excellent. In the days that followed, as Lyra grew stronger, Kate often found herself sitting by the commander's pod, answering questions about Earth humans and the events of the past months. Lyra was intelligent and curious, eager to understand everything that had happened while she was in stasis. "You saved my people," Supreme Commander Lyra said to Kate one evening. Her voice was still weak but growing stronger daily. "For this there can never be enough gratitude." Kate shook her head. "It was a joint effort. Your knowledge, our techniques working together is what saved them." Lyra studied Kate with wise, ancient eyes. "And now we must decide our future," she said. "Will we stay on your world or seek another?" "That is your choice," Kate replied. "Earth has welcomed you, but I understand if your people wish to have a world of their own." Lyra was silent for a moment. Then she asked, "Have you ever heard of a symbiotic relationship?" Dr. Harris Kate nodded. "In biology, it means two different organisms living together for mutual benefit." "Exactly," Lyra said. "The Exani and humans have begun such a relationship. Our knowledge, your resourcefulness, our technology, your creativity. Together we are more than separate. The question is not whether to stay or leave, but how to continue what we have begun." Later that week, when Lyra was strong enough to leave her pod, a meeting was called. Representatives from Earth governments gathered with Exani leaders to discuss the future. Supreme Commander Lyra attended, supported by Zara, and using a mobility device Kate had helped design. General Ward, now promoted to oversee all Exani relations, opened the meeting. "Earth welcomes Supreme Commander Lyra and congratulates the medical team on her recovery," she said. "Now we must address the path forward." Lyra spoke, her voice carrying easily through the chamber, despite her still weakened condition. "My people came to Earth as refugees seeking only to save our children," she began. "Through human generosity and cooperation, we have succeeded beyond our hopes. Our future generations will live. In return, we have shared our technology, but I believe we can offer more." The room was silent as everyone listened intently. "The universe is vast and often dangerous," Lyra continued. "We Exani learned this when war destroyed our world. You humans are just beginning to reach beyond your planet. You will face challenges we have already overcome. We propose a formal alliance, a sharing of knowledge, resources, and protection." One of the government officials leaned forward. "What exactly would this alliance entail?" Zara stepped forward. "Activating a holographic display. We propose joint colonies on Mars and Earth's moon," she explained. "Using Exani technology, we can create self-sustaining habitats within 2 Earth years. We can also improve your space travel capabilities, allowing exploration beyond your solar system." A scientific representative spoke up. "And what would humans provide in this alliance?" Kate answered before any of the Exani could respond. "Perspective," she said. "Innovation, creativity. The Exani have advanced technology, but humans approach problems differently. We find solutions they might not consider. Our medical techniques saved their children. Our ways of thinking complement theirs." General Ward nodded thoughtfully. "This alliance could benefit both species, but there are details to be worked out. Security concerns, resource allocation, governance of joint colonies." Supreme Commander Lyra raised a hand. "Such concerns are valid," she said. "We propose a council with equal representation from both species to address these matters. All decisions must be unanimous, ensuring neither side can dominate." The discussions continued for hours as details were debated and plans formed. Kate watched with growing optimism as the foundations for a true partnership between species began to take shape. That evening, Kate found Thalia sitting alone on a bench outside the facility. The child was looking up at the stars, her expression thoughtful. "May I join you?" Kate asked. Thalia nodded, moving over to make space. "I was looking for our old world," she said. "It's too far to see, but I like to imagine it. Do you miss it?" Kate asked gently. "I never really knew it." Thalia replied, "I was born on the evacuation ship, but my parents tell stories sometimes about great crystal cities and oceans that glowed at night. They say it was beautiful before the war." Kate looked up at the stars, trying to imagine the distant world that had once been home to the Exani. Now their home was here, Or perhaps their home was wherever they could live. In peace, do you think humans and Axani can really live together? Thalia asked. Her voice held the simple directness of a child. Kate considered the question. I think we can, she said finally. Because we've already begun humans and Axani working together, learning from each other, becoming friends, even becoming family. You called it Sarai Leth, remember? Thalia made the clicking sound of agreement, then surprised Kate by taking her hand. I am glad you are my Sarai. Leth, Dr. Kate, she said. Kate squeezed, the small blue hand gently feeling the strange texture of Axani skin against her own. So different, yet sharing the same warmth. The same life, me too. Thalia, she replied. Me too. 5 years had passed since the alliance between humans and Axani was formalized. Kate stood on the observation deck of the Mars colony, watching the sun rise over the red landscape. The dome that enclosed the settlement allowed a clear view while protecting the inhabitants from the harsh Martian environment. Below her, the colony bustled with activity, humans and Axani working side by side building a new world. Dr. Harris, a voice called from behind her. Kate turned to see Allison Miller, her assistant, approaching with a tablet. The new atmospheric processors are online, she reported. Everything is functioning at optimal levels. The terraforming of the northern basin can begin on schedule. Kate nodded, satisfied. The technology to make Mars habitable had been developed jointly by human and Axani scientists, combining Axani terraforming knowledge with human innovation. The process would take decades, but eventually humans and Axani would be able to walk the surface of Mars without protective gear. How are the new arrivals settling in? Kate asked. Very well, Allison replied. The human families are adapting quickly to the lower gravity. The children especially seem to enjoy it, and the Axani find the radiation levels here more comfortable than on Earth. It's a good balance, Kate smiled. Mars had become a true joint colony with nearly equal populations of both species. Unlike Earth, where Axani remained a minority, Mars offered a fresh start, a place where both species could build something new together. Kate checked her watch. The shuttle would be arriving soon, bringing the monthly supply shipment from Earth and new colonists. She had a personal interest in this particular arrival. She made her way to the landing bay, watching through the reinforced windows as the shuttle docked with perfect precision. The airlock cycled and passengers began to disembark. Kate scanned the crowd, looking for familiar faces. There she spotted Thalia, now a teenager by both human and Axani standards. Beside her walked Zara and Supreme Commander Lyra. The years had been kind to Lyra. Her recovery complete, she moved with the natural grace of the Axani. Though she now carried a ceremonial staff that marked her position, Kate waved, catching their attention. Thalia spotted her first, breaking into a run as soon as she cleared the arrival protocols. She threw her arms around Kate in a very human gesture of affection. Dr. Kate, I missed you, Thalia exclaimed. Her English was perfect now, with barely a trace of the musical Axani accent. You must show me everything. The hydroponics labs, the new school, the terraforming control center. Kate laughed. You just arrived. Give yourself time to settle in. The colony isn't going anywhere. Zara and Lyra approached at a more dignified pace, greeting Kate with the formal Axani gesture of respect. Palms pressed together, fingers splayed. Dr. Harris, Lyra said, It is good to see you again. The colony has flourished under your leadership. Thank you, Supreme, Commander Kate replied. It's been a team effort. The success here belongs to everyone. Lyra made the clicking sound of agreement. I have news from Earth, she said. The Council has approved the Jupiter expedition. A joint mission to explore the moons of Jupiter will launch next year. Kate felt excitement build within her. The Jupiter mission had been her proposal. A scientific expedition using Axani technology and human exploratory techniques to investigate the potential for life on Europa and other moons. It would be the farthest humans had ever traveled in our solar system. That is excellent news, she said. When do preparations begin? Immediately, Lyra replied, and they wish you to lead the scientific team. Kate was stunned. Me, but my responsibilities. Here Zara spoke up. Your deputy director can oversee the colony while you're gone. she said. The Council feels your experience with both species makes you uniquely qualified to lead this mission. Before Kate could respond, alarms began to sound throughout. The landing bay red lights flashed as a computerized voice announced, "Alert, unidentified vessel approaching Mars, orbit all personnel to emergency stations." Kate rushed to the communication center with Zara and Lyra close behind. Allison was all ready. "They're coordinating with the defense systems put in place to protect the colony," report. Kate demanded unknown ship approaching from beyond the asteroid belt. Allison said, "It's not one of ours. Not Earth or Axani design. Moving at incredible speed trajectory. Suggests it will reach Mars orbit in 20 minutes. Zara stepped forward, accessing the sensor array with practiced ease. "The ship's energy signature is unlike anything in our database," she said. "Not Axani technology. Nothing we've encountered before." Lyra joined her daughter at the controls. "This is concerning," she said to Kate. "Our experience suggests caution when encountering unknown species." Kate nodded. Activating the colony's defense protocols. Shields were raised, communications readied. The colonists moved efficiently to their assigned emergency stations. Years of drills had prepared them for this possibility. "Are they responding to hails?" Lyra asked. "Nothing yet." Allison replied, "We are broadcasting on all frequencies in both human and Axani languages." 15 tense minutes passed as they tracked the approaching vessel. Its speed was beyond anything human or Axani ships could achieve, suggesting technology far more advanced than their own. Then suddenly the ship slowed dramatically, coming to a relative stop just outside Mars orbit. A signal began to transmit directed at the colony. Incoming transmission. Allison announced, "Audio only. Let us hear it." Kate ordered. A strange voice filled the communication center. Unlike anything Kate had heard before, it seemed to shift between tones, sometimes high and melodic, sometimes deep and resonant. The language was completely alien. "Our translators can't process it," Zara said. Her fingers moved rapidly over the controls. "They are using a linguistic structure that matches nothing in our database. Continue broadcasting our peaceful intentions." Kate instructed, "Use mathematics as well. Universal constants that any advanced species would recognize." Minutes passed as they attempted different approaches to communication. The alien vessel remained in position, neither advancing nor retreating. "Wait," Thalia said from the doorway where she had been watching silently. "I think I hear a pattern." She stepped forward to the communication console. "May." Kate nodded, and Allison moved aside, allowing the young Axani access to the equipment. Thalia listened intently, then began adjusting frequencies, isolating certain tones and rhythms. "I think," she said slowly, "they are trying different approaches, seeing what we respond to." Alien transmission changed again, this time incorporating mathematical sequences. "Prime numbers the value of pi. They're trying to establish basic communication," Thalia said excitedly. She input a response using the same mathematical language. The alien vessel transmitted again. This time, the message included simple visual data, basic geometric shapes that appeared on the screen. Allison looked at Kate in amazement. "They're learning quickly, adapting their communication to what we can understand." Over the next hour, through a painstaking process of mathematical exchanges, simple concepts began to emerge. The aliens identified themselves as the Novali travelers from another star system. They had detected the changes on Mars and come to investigate. Finally, after establishing rudimentary communication, the Novali transmitted a request permission to send a representative to the colony. Kate looked to Lyra. The Supreme Commander had the most experience with first contact situations. Her decision would carry significant weight. Lyra considered carefully, then nodded. "We came to Earth as strangers and were welcomed. She said we should extend the same courtesy to these visitors, but with appropriate precautions." Kate agreed, activating the special airlock, designed for unknown biological entities. It would allow contact while preventing any potential biological contamination in either direction. 2 hours later, Kate, Lyra, Zara, and Thalia stood waiting as the airlock cycled. The inner door opened, revealing Their first visitor from beyond the solar system. The Navali representative was unlike anything Kate had imagined, neither humanoid like humans, nor insectoid like the Axani. Instead, it appeared to be a shifting mass of crystalline structures that caught the light in rainbow patterns. It moved with liquid grace, floating slightly above the floor. "Welcome to Mars," Kate said, gesturing to include the colony beyond the windows. "We are pleased to meet you." The crystalline being pulsed with light. In response, a device floated beside it, translating its light patterns into sound. "We have watched your world for some time," it said. "Your planet grows warmer, your people struggle. Yet here, on this barren world, we find humans and Axani working together,
creating life where none existed. This is unexpected." Fascinating, Lyra stepped forward. "We have formed an alliance," she explained, sharing knowledge and resources to benefit both species. The Novali being shifted, forming a new configuration. "We come from
a system with 12 inhabited worlds, 12 different species living in harmony, trading knowledge and culture, supporting each other. There are others like us throughout the galaxy, networks of cooperation spanning hundreds of light years," Kate felt. A thrill of excitement at the implications the universe wasn't empty or hostile. It contained civilizations far more advanced than their own species that had learned to work together. "Would your alliance be interested in contact with our network?" the Novali asked. "Your approach to cooperation between different species is promising, though still developing." Kate looked at Lyra, who made the clicking sound of agreement. They both understood the monumental nature of this moment. This wasn't just first contact with a new species, but potentially an invitation to join a galactic community.